Alrighty folks, welcome back to the channel. This is JPlays Pokemon MMO, Geolock, the Hoenn Region Edition. This is episode 4, which means we are aiming for badges 7 and 8. This is it. We're almost done with the badges. We're here in Moss Deep City, reporting to you live from the Moss Deep Gym. So the leaders of this gym are Tate and Liza. So this is supposed to be a double battle gimmick gym. For some reason, double battles don't actually work. So all of these trainers are actually just 2 individual single battles, which, in my opinion, that's kind of hilarious. Like, the whole point is a double battle, but luckily, the gym leader with Tate and Liza is actually the double battle. You can see my team here. I actually have a really strong squad. A lot of these Pokemon I'm going to be bringing with me to the 8th gym. We got Tapion the Starmie, we got Goku the Blaziken, and Mr. Popo the Electrode. We got Nimbus the Altaria. The other 2 don't really matter. I'm bringing my Moxie Yamcha, which is going to, be able to get a sweep going. I also have Swampert here. Both Swampert and Tapion, my Starmie, they both have Surf. I'm fighting a double battle, so I want some spread moves, and that's kind of my plan here. We're going to see how well we do, because Tate and Liza, to be honest with you, this is actually a really tough fight. Like, I remember this being like a run killer in speedruns. I remember this being really tough when I was a kid, but I set up some light screen action. I start doing some Surf to do some spread damage, and we take out the Lunatone, and we take out the Solrock with ease. Sadly, I'm also down 2 Pokemon, so it's kind of like an even fight, but we'll see how well we do. Luckily, there's 2 Psychic types on the field, so my Dark type Pokemon is going to come in clutch. It's going to start getting that Moxie boost. That's what we like to see. Altaria over here, I have using Cotton Guard, making it like one of the best walls we can possibly ask for. Altaria also has like really good special bulk, so using Cotton Guard maxes out the special defense if you just use it twice. And luckily, it's so good at being a wall, it is practically unkillable, and it helps us take the 7th gym badge. And just like that, we're in good shape. We see that in the Space Center, Team Magma is starting to cause trouble. It's just a bunch of little trainers. Like, to be honest with you, I find parts of this game like a waste of time. Like when you have to fight just like wave after wave of like Team Rocket Grunt, Team Galactic Grunt, Team Magma Grunt, Team Aqua Grunt. Like at a certain point it becomes too much, but luckily it lets us level up our Pokemon. It's, free money, which is also really important. Money is something that is very valuable in MMO, just because you have to breed, which costs money, and you have to get items, which cost money. And throughout the game, it's already pretty hard enough. Another thing that's difficult about this game is they're going to throw me in with a tag team with Steven Stone. He's supposed to be the champion, but he's bringing in a freaking Matang against these fire types and all of his steel types. All my Pokemon get bit to the dust because they were already damaged. And this Matang is just like the hope and dream for our team. Something funny happens where like after Matang dies, like the battle doesn't end. Like it was like glitched or something. So I just had to dip. I was like, whatever. So we leave Moss Deep Space Center to fend for itself, and we go hang out in this like little submarine thing. If you use the hidden submarine entrance, you can go into this like special cave, which is actually really cool. I don't actually remember this in Pokemon Ruby. Maybe this is something that you only do in Sapphire and in Pokemon Emerald, which is what we're doing here. But we go down and we have to fight Archie from Team Aqua. So Archie has a pretty simple team. It's all water type Pokemon, but his levels are crazy. Like all of his Pokemon are like level 40, level 45. And so I'm in here with like level 30s to 40s. Like I'm not prepared for this in any way, shape, or form. Luckily, I have electric type Pokemon to help me through this. Sadly, they're both very fragile. We already lost Magneton, and this Lamp turn, like, oh my god. This Pokemon's insane. He ends up healing with it and switching it back out, so I have to deal with it later. And Archie's kind of destroying me. And this is something that I'm kind of nervous about. In the last episode, Maxie was kind of kicking my ass. And in this episode, Archie's kicking my ass. So I'm kind of questioning if my team is even worth using currently. Maybe it's just I'm not high enough level. Maybe that's all that is, but I'm kind of screwed. I end up losing, so I have to come back again, which is insane to me. I've never actually died this many times in the story mode of a Pokemon game. Like, I've run Nuzlocke challenges, I've run, like, whatever kind of hard mode, ROM hacks, get sent my way, but this is actually tough. So, we gotta lock in, we gotta get ready. I'm here to fight Team Aqua's boss. I'm not trying to, fight an Aqua Grunt. I gotta take it a little bit more seriously than that. I set up screens against this lantern so it actually does half damage, which I think is the only way I'm going to be able to get some meaningful hits on this thing, because it's so tanky. This thing is so defensive. I even resort to using HP restore items. Like, it was crazy. Like, I hate using items in these in-game fights, but whatever. We have a Crobat versus Crobat fight, and he uses Mean Look. Doesn't really work because it runs out, and then I can switch into my Electric. Unfortunately, Crobat actually outspeeds my Electrode, which is, like, silly. But we're going to loop it back around the same way we got the 7th badge. We're going to use Cotton Guard on Nimbus, and he's going to become an unkillable... Oh, never mind. This Sharpedo has Speed Boost, so it's actually really scary. Luckily, I have Thunderbolt, and I'm able to kill it with my Bippity. And then the last thing we have to deal with is, you know, slap a good Psychic onto the Tentacruel. Kyogre gets mad at this. He saw that I lost, and he was kind of upset, so he kind of fucks off and does some whatever. I don't know where Kyogre goes, but suddenly there's like a torrential downpour. Even Groudon's kind of upset. Like, we don't know what to do, and the Team Aqua and Magma guys are just standing there. They're like, oh shit, like, the legendaries are there, and we didn't plan for this. They're fucking morons. So, Steven Stone has me go into this cave, and I get some words of wisdom from the champion of the region, and we head on over to Sky Pillar. So, Kyogre and Groudon are kind of just, like, bickering, and I have to find Sky Pillar. It's nowhere on the map, so I'm, like, lost as hell. Luckily, I have the power of Google and anime on my side, so we climb Sky Pillar, we meet Rayquaza, and we say, hey, bro, like, can you get those guys to, you know, calm down? Like, get your mans. And then he does, and then they fuck off. For some reason, I remember that being way cooler as a kid, but they literally just, like, show up in this lake, and then they fuck off. Like, that's it. But whatever. I also remember this gym being very difficult. There's no trainers in it, which is weird. But in any case, let's head on right into the 8th gym badge with some anticlimactic story mode, you know, really disappointing us. Luckily, that's not the point of this challenge. I don't really care about Kyogre, Groudon, or Rayquaza. We don't get to fight any of them or catch any of them, so they're kind of useless. So let's see what we got here against the Water-type gym. So, the gym here is pretty tough because all of the Pokemon are very bulky. Like, it's very defense-oriented. Luckily, they don't try to do, like, a Toxic Stall or anything. So I'm just slapping this thing with flies over and over again. We use Psychic to take out the Wishcash, and we have Kingdra. This Kingdra has Speed Boost, which is not good. So we were able to take it out. And the rest of the team really isn't scary. We have Tapion here, which gets crunched. Super effective. Crawdon would be scary if it's doing a lot of damage, but it doesn't have the proper ability. And luckily, we have Electrode to finish it off with a powerful Thunderbolts. And just like that, we have all 8 gym badges. I fall down here and I realize that's where all the trainers were hiding. Like, we didn't even need to fuck with any of them. But in any case, we're good. So, now we have some time to train up our Pokemon, develop our team, see what we want to do. I take the moment to try to evolve all the Pokemon that I haven't had a chance to, because our level cap is now level 58. So some of the Pokemon we had couldn't evolve by now for the Badge 6 fight, but for Badge 8, we're going to have a lot more Pokemon available. And in a moment, I'm actually going to break down all of the Pokemon that we have available for the Badge 8 fights, because with the addition of Flygon and all of the other Pokemon that can evolve, like, we have a crazy tier list to take a look at. Alrighty, so let's get to the tier list. So I like to keep this section pretty short, so I'm just going to throw some Pokemon that I know are in each tier. Like, for example, Dragon Dance is immediately a very scary threat. Flygon, automatically a really good Pokemon. It's got very good move diversity, and as a counter to it, Starmie is also very strong. If you get paralyzed on the Gyarados, then Starmie probably outspeeds it, so Thunderbolt can kill. So there's a lot of counterplay between these three. Rain is still a very good strategy. I think Gardevoir is very strong. Spore is available on Breloom, which makes it just immediately one of the strongest Pokemon like available. The starters are kind of interesting. In Gen 3, back in the day, Swampert was really, really strong. Just being able to be immune to electric attacks, having rock and water and ice and earthquake. And Blaziken, I'd say it's pretty strong. Sceptile, I'd say it's probably the weakest of the three. Zangoose, we've seen Zangoose do some diabolical things. I think this is an easy A tier. And then there's Roserade, can set up spikes, really good special attacker. Hitmontop, this Pokemon's terrifying. This Pokemon is actually insane. It's Rapid Spin, which we have a lot of options for Rapid Spinners. Claydol as well, I'm pretty sure. Torkoal can learn it. Tentacruel is also a Rapid Spinner, so these are all very good Pokemon. Claydol's probably one of the best Rapid Spinners, aside from Hitmonlee. We got some bad Pokemon. We got like Houndoom and Kecleon. I would think that Masquerain is a C tier Pokemon, but it learns Quiver Dance, and Quiver Dance is like unfair. This is like a very strong sleeper Pokemon. Golem was one of the only Stealth Rock setters originally. Now I think it's probably one of the worst Stealth Rock setters. Aggron is significantly better at setting up Stealth Rocks. Same thing, it's got Sturdy and all that. Electrode's really good. It's very fast, so it has some counterplay against the Gyarados, but you know, it's setting up late screens and then sacking itself. You know, it's not too strong. Frostlass. We see Snorunt and Glalie available in this region, so Frostlass is also available. This Pokemon's really good. It's got priority ice, so it can take out these dragon types that otherwise would give a lot of issue. It can deal with grounds. Like, this is a very strong Pokemon. Corphish does a lot of damage. Corphish is a very, very strong Pokemon. Can make this range strategy really tight-knit, depending on how you build it. We have Gengar. Gengar is an easy S tier. I think Gengar and Frostlass fill the same role. They're good spin blockers. They're both good special attackers. Wonder Guard immediately is not strong anymore, and I think Zoroark is also not all that strong. I reordered the tiers a little bit just to make things a little bit more clear of which Pokemon I think are stronger than the others in any given tier. I think all of these Pokemon are pretty valid. All of them actually have some ability or some move that makes them really weak and strong. So we'll see how the team building goes. First things first, let's get into the very first fight with Hybrid versus Acenet in a 5v5. So this fight is going to be for the beginning of Badge 8. We see a little bit of Hybrid's team, a little bit of Acenet's team. They're going with a 5v5 fight because they agreed on it, and this is going to be really interesting because immediately the win condition on Hybrid's team, the Gyarados, gets burned. When a Gyarados gets burned, it is really unfortunate. One, it never happens, but two, when you're burned, you get your attack cut in half, so immediately Gyarados needs to get the hell out of there. Switching into Vileplume is really smart by Acenet. It's like a defensive pick against Gyarados, and Hybrid responds with another very smart move, switching into Skarmory. So both of them are walling each other out, and then both of them decide that they need hazards on the field. So they switch into their hazard setter for Claydol. They get Stealth Rock and Spikes on either end, and immediately Skarmory starts using Roar. Roaring out the Claydol, switching into Torkoal, getting a little bit of chip damage. It's gonna, you know, progress the game state a little bit. Acenet gets Sun when Torkoal shows up, which is actually really dangerous for Hybrid. Hybrid goes back into Gyarados to hopefully get a little bit of exchange going, and we see the Rapid Spin on Torkoal. That's one of what makes Torkoal the best Pokemon in the game. Torkoal is very powerful because it sets up Sun, it's super defensive, and it learns Rapid Spin. It's like a triple threat. Hybrid is seeing the effects of Burn pretty heavily. It's not going to be able to do much damage. The Gyarados is getting chipped down a little bit each turn. Acenet's able to rotate his Pokemon, so he's not really taking any damage on anything individual. Oh my god. And he's using Intimidate Masquerade, so this Gyarados is crippled. He may as well just let it die. And Acenet knows this, and he knows that he's not going to be taking a lot of damage, so he takes the opportunity to set up with Quiver Dance. Quiver Dance makes this Masquerain terrifying. It's a 5v5, neither team has lost a Pokemon, but after the Quiver Dance, Masquerain takes out the Gyarados. Having Shell Bell too is also kind of devious, because anytime you do damage, you're going to heal a little bit of HP, depending on how much damage you did. Masquerain has a super effective attack on this Houndoom, so the Devil Dog goes down, and again, the Shell Bell is going to keep him healthy, so even if Hybrid is able to outspeed the speed boosted Masquerain, this Mirage is still going to be able to take him out. Weather Ball in the Sun is a fire type attack, so it's super effective against the Skarmory. It's actually crazy how much coverage this one Masquerain has against Hybrid's entire team. Hybrid sends out one of the fastest Pokemon in the tier. Starmie has Quick Claw, and it still doesn't outspeed, which is unfortunate. And it also gets hit by Masquerade. And this is the second time Acenet has used a low tier Pokemon to sweep. Last time it was his Zangoose, remember that? And in the last episode, he sweeped me with just one Swords Dance. One Quiver Dance, and Acenet's sweeping Hybrid's entire team too. It's insane. Acenet is really good at finding these clever team builds, so let's see how I do against him. This is the next fight, and we're going to start things off with two Steel types. Looks like it's going to be a little handshake situation where I set up Spikes on his field, he's going to set up Stealth Rock on mine. This is very similar to what happened in Hybrid's game, actually. Hybrid used Roar afterwards. I'm just deciding to switch in because I think that this Aggron isn't going to be doing a lot of damage to me. And I take the opportunity to do some damage to it. I know he's expecting me to Dragon Dance, so I go straight for the Earthquake, and I get the kill. He was probably going to use some other setup move, so I'm very lucky that I got the leg up. And luckily, Flygon is pretty quick. He's got like, I think 90 speed, so he's able to outspeed the Claydol. I get Rapid Spin, which is unfortunate. There go the spikes that I set up. But Skarmory's still available in the back row, so I'm not too nervous. Acenet uses Intimidate to try and cripple my Flygon, which is valid. I hit it with a couple Rock Slides, and in some twist of fate, I get the flinch 2 times in a row. Acenet realizes that this is completely unfair. The main character energy is absurd. And he switches back out. I use some Dragon Claws and some Crunches to take out the Claydol. Even though I've been intimidated, Flygon is still putting in work. I'm telling you, Flygon is a very powerful Pokemon. He seems like the weakest Dragon type, but he's actually not. I switch into Tapion the Starmie because he has the ground type. I'm going to try and hit it with some water damage. He sets up with Swords Dance, and I'm immediately scared. I don't like when Acenet uses a setup move. Luckily, he switches out because I'm faster. Cacturn is going to be able to tank this Surf with no problem. The type effective rotation is pretty simple here. Nothing groundbreaking's happening until he uses Sucker Punch, and it one-shots me. I was not prepped for that. I was thinking that this guy was going to die to an Ice Beam, but no. I send out my Screen Setter Dragon Ball. I'm hoping that he's going to be able to set up for me. I changed Mr. Popo's name. He was bred down to be a different one, so I call this one Dragon Ball. Mr. Popo is the father. He switches into a ground type, and I have Hyper Beam specifically for this switch because I know he thought I was going to use Thunderbolt. But unfortunately, I have to recharge, and he gets the chance to get this fucking Zangoose another Swords Dance. I'm sweating bricks. He uses Quick Attack, he gets a critical hit, and suddenly Dragon Ball, I bred him down, he still dies the same way as a father did. So we have Skarmory coming in. I'm hoping that I can, survive a little bit, and luckily he doesn't actually get the kill, and I Whirlwind him out. I brought technology for this. I freaking learned how to deal with these setup sweepers because they're terrifying. Whirlwind is really good. Luckily, I'm able to, get rid of the Zangoose as an immediate threat. And I end up killing the Gyarados as well. Drill Peck doesn't do a lot of damage, but Gyarados was already, bleeding, so we were able to take it out. He switches into a Grass type, and I'm thinking, well, I'm fine with this. I can use Drill Peck, not realizing that, I also got intimidated. So I just decide to rest. I roost myself, and I kind of dip out. I switch into Nimbus. The Flying Nimbus is actually one of my favorite Pokemon in the Hoenn region. I love Altaria. I think he's so freaking cool. I run out of my Reflect, my screens are gone, but luckily I can provide my own defense boost. So Altaria is getting really bulky. Acenet counters with Leech Seed, which is probably one of the best moves to deal with a bulky Pokemon like that. I just keep going for Cotton Guard because I'm still scared of the Zangoose in the back row. Luckily, my Nimbus is outfitted with some very good moves. I planned ahead on some of the Pokemon I thought I was going to see. To deal with Skarmory, I have Flamethrower, but luckily, it's able to take out this Cacturn. He switches back into Zangoose, and I realize something. I'm up an advantage. I have 4 Pokemon, so I cannot let this freaking thing kill me. I get a critical hit Dragon Pulse with sheer determination, and he gets a little bit of heal from Leech Seed. I'm scared of it. I don't think he can kill, though. If he gets a crit right here, he might have killed, but I'm super, super bulky. So I survive it, and I take out my demons. I finally kill the Zangoose. I feel very lucky. I feel like I'm on a high after fighting that friendly with Acenet, so I go right into a fight with Felis. And he sends out his Wincon. And we did a couple turns where I set up spikes, and he set up his Stealth Rock, and now he's just setting up 2 Dragon Dances, and I realized something, that my plan for the Dragon Dance, all of my calcs that I did were for 1 Dragon Dance. I never even considered 2. So I send in my Skarmory to try and Whirlwind it away, and it dies. I send in my super fast Electrode for Thunderbolt, and it dies. And I realize all of my Pokemon that were prepped for this are not. I send in another quick Pokemon, it dies immediately. And the double Dragon Dance sweeps my entire team with very, very little effort. I have nothing to do. I was preparing for this. I trained for this. I calced for this. Somehow I even get the Gyarados to be paralyzed. I don't have Thunderbolt on my Tapion. If I got it paralyzed and he's Thunderbolt, that might have been something different, but Felis is terrifying. So Acenet decides to take a swing at him. He reconfigures his team a little bit, switches what he used against me and what he used against Hybrid. He makes his best team possible, and he fights Felis. So, Torkoal does big damage on Metagross. Metagross is a scary Pokemon, by the way. It's got Stealth Rock, it's got Explosion, it's got Bullet Punch priority, it's insane. He uses Thunder Punch to try and take out the Torkoal, and luckily the Ground-type Claydol is able to, prevent that from happening. And Claydol takes out the Metagross with an Earth Power. Shuka Berry is good, but not when you're already in red HP. So Metagross is down, and suddenly Acenet is in a 5-6 situation, where Acenet's up. Felis uses Nasty Plot on Gengar, which is diabolical, by the way. He gets hit with a super effective Earth Power, and somehow he survives. In my opinion, a Gengar should never survive this. He must have actually prepared for this as a bulky Gengar, and then the Nasty Plot doubles his special attack. So not only does it have bulk, it has speed and it has attack. So this thing is a very high threat. Acenet already had Sun set up from Torkoal, and Vileplume has Chlorophyll, so it's able to outspeed the Gengar to take it out. This is a very high level fight. Like, everything that's happening here is like super well thought out. There's teams with a lot of prep involved. Felis sets up some screens, and then Acenet decides that he's going to circumvent the screens by using Growth, taking out the Electrode, and Felis has a Flygon. He knows how much I love Flygon, so he named it JPlays, and he uses Dragon Dance, and he realizes that, the screen only lasts so long. Acenet switches back out to try and do some physical damage, and then Felis uses Dragon Claw. The boosted Dragon Claw doesn't actually kill the Blaziken, which kind of shows that Flygon isn't really the best use of Dragon Dance, but it's still really good, takes out the Blaziken, and Acenet has a Frostlass. Now, like I said in the tier list, Frostlass has priority ice moves. It's like designed to take out Dragon Dancers, which is really, really cool. Felis switches into a Hitmontop. Hitmontop is a world champion. This is a very strong Pokemon, and Acenet decides to switch back out into the physically defensive Pokemon. Torkoal, try to tank a hit, set up the Sun, and then rotate back out into Masquerain. We saw this in the hybrid fight. Masquerain has the amazing boost move, Quiver Dance. He uses Weather Ball immediately, thinking that it might do enough damage, maybe getting a burn. Shell Bell healing up a little bit. Mirage gets hit again and then uses Quiver Dance. Now, if Acenet used Quiver Dance last turn, he would have survived the hit and then been boosted and then been able to outspeed and kill. But that's not what happened. And Felis, with his speed boosted after the Rapid Spin, ends up killing the Masquerain. So now we're in a really high pressure situation. Acenet has 3 Pokemon still, and Felis just has the Gyarados. We have Sun up here, which is going to weaken the water type moves that Felis has, and Felis goes Dragon Dancing. That one single boost from Dragon Dance is very powerful. The poison from Sludge Bomb does some chip damage, and Sludge Bomb also takes him out to about half, but Felis is going to Ice Fang and kill the outspeeding Chlorophyll boosted Vileplume in one hit. We see the priority Ice Beam, or Ice Shard, not kill, because Gyarados is not a Dragon type, it's a Water type, and unfortunately, Frostlass dies too. It all comes down to this. If Torkoal can outstall the Gyarados, then the poison will kill it. Drought is going to have the waterfall damage, and Protect is going to stall it out as much as humanly possible. Let's see if it gets the job done. It just needs to survive one hit for poison to kill. Waterfall at half damage kills the Torkoal, and then Felis takes the Badge 8 tournament. So, Felis is the man to beat. Once again, he is dangerous, he is very smart, and above all else, he has a team that none of us know how to beat currently. Let's see how we do in the finals when we get on to the final episode, the finale of Geolock, the Hoenn Region Edition. The Hoenn finals are a treat, so don't miss it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.